Gather your family, get in the backyard, get ready for a barbecue. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
I'm Ben.
Happy Father's Day, Ben. What is with you? The audience.
Do you
needs
really
to
need me to know that?
No, I need you
I'm
to
tired.
answer. You were fine 10 seconds ago.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were. You were literally doing a bit for 10 minutes.
I live in self-denial.
I've been waiting to. How long have we been recording? Look at that.
6 minutes.
How long has this been so far? Not even 30 seconds? So there's like 5 minutes of you vamping, talking about Buddy Holly, and making dumb fucking jokes at the start of this episode.
I made a Weezer reference.
Yes, you did. You did make a Weezer reference.
Not Buddy Holly, the actual person. That's
No,
not...
the Weezer song.
Yeah. Well, also the actual person.
Well, yeah. But anyway, happy Father's Day, Ben. Do you have any plans this year? Are you doing anything cool?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm really glad that you don't know.
Oh, you're welcome. Are you doing anything?
No, I'm not a father.
I know
Why would I
Father's
be
Day is
doing
really
anything?
important to you.
Well, yeah, because it's also my birthday. Same day this year. I was actually born on Father's Day. I don't know if this is the first time since I've been born that it's been back on Father's Day.
No, because it switches every 7 years, right?
7.
Yeah.
So the last one was what, when I was like...
If Father's Day switches days all the time, your
Does it?
birthday goes around in a circle. Like this year it's on Sunday, I believe next year it's on
Monday. Ah,
and then
I
Tuesday.
see.
I believe that's how it works.
I don't know how calendars work, I'm going to be honest. I'm too dumb to understand calendars. But,
I'm too tired to think about this right now.
okay, bro. Anyway, what movie are you watching this year for
Well,
Father's Day?
You know, I was kind of going over some movies for Father's Day
Yeah.
last night
Uh-huh.
because I really put off doing this.
Fair
and I
enough.
was like, wow, this movie looks really good, and this movie looks really good. But they're both 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like recording a 2-hour movie tomorrow because I know we have to watch multiple. But this movie's shorter.
This movie is 30 minutes.
Oh, I wish. No, it's an hour and 29 minutes.
Okay, so a normal length film.
length movie. But I say that. I was actually thinking about covering this movie last year,
Oh, really?
but then we covered Frailty instead.
Mm-hmm.
I think because it was it a convention prep episode?
Yeah, I think it was both.
Or did I just want to do it for fun? I can't remember.
It was a very good movie. It has Matthew McConaughey in it.
In either case, I kind of thought about covering this one last year. So it's kind of full circle that we're covering it this year. But, you know, I think it's important on Father's Day to remember that, you know, your dads aren't just the people who helped give birth to you. They're also the people who, like, care for you and are important in your lives.
Okay.
So for this Father's Day, we're going to be watching The Stepfather from 1987.
The Stepfather.
Yeah.
He's not the dad. Never mind.
What were you going to say?
I was going to make a dumb joke. Keep going.
Okay. Bob's like, that was...
Stepfather. From what, 1987?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Description. He just wants to find himself a loving family.
That's not good. That it cannot be good.
What do you mean? That's like totally fine.
Ben.
Totally fine.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's rated R.
Thank God.
IMDb gave it a 6.7 out of 10.
Honestly, pretty good.
Tomato meter of 89%.
Okay.
And an audience score of 65%.
That's actually pretty sweet.
For awards, it has 2 wins and 8 nominations. All right. We have Terry O'Quinn as Jerry Blake. He was John Locke from Lost.
Oh, I've never seen Lost.
Who's on 120 episodes between 2004 and 2010. We have Jill, I don't know how you pronounce her name, Sholin, I think, as Stephanie Main. She played Paula Carson from Cutting Class. Shelley Hack as Susan. She was a street stranger on Annie Hall, but also and Potter in Troll.
Oh, we haven't seen Troll.
Not to be confused with Troll 2, which I believe is the famous one where they go...
He's killing me. Oh, what is it?
They're killing him. Wait. First they're going to eat her, and then they're going to eat me.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh
was.
my god.
That's like such an iconic scene. That and like the thing from Silent Night Deadly Night 2 with the garbage can.
Garbage Day! Yeah.
It's so good.
Charles Lanier as Dr. Bondurant. He played Spencer's doctor from The Astronaut's Wife. Stephen Shellen as Jim Ogilvy. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He was Neil Burns in A River Runs Through It. Stephen E. Miller as L. Brennan. He was C.L. Magnus from Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
Hold on. Where's my phone? Hold on. I don't remember who this is. I have to look it up.
Robin Steven as Karen. She was Frances Cooper in Bye Bye Blues. Jeff Schultz as Paul Baker. He was Tony Andretti from North of Pittsburgh.
I looked up a picture of C.L. Magnus. He's the old fuck from Scooby-Doo 2.
Which one?
Look at him. You can see him. He's like the guy, like he's like
No, I know. So Scooby-Doo 2, the whole premise of it is there. Oh, spoilers for Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
We need to watch those for the podcast.
That is the movie where they're bringing monsters to life.
Yeah.
And all their old villains are in it. Which old villain is it?
This guy from the cartoon, if you recognize him.
What's his name?
C.L. Magnus.
What thing is he pulling off? Like what monster? That's really what I'm asking. I don't know who the actual people are. Just go to his...
Is he the pirate? I think he's the pirate. Yep, he's the pirate.
The pirate ghost?
The ghost of Redbeard.
Yeah. Pirate ghost.
Pirate ghost.
All right. Director's Joseph Rubin. He directed Dreamscape in 1984. The screenplay writer, and he also has a story by credit, is Donald E. Westlake. He wrote The Grifters. And then there's a couple like story by authors. There's Carolyn Lefcourt. She hasn't really done anything else, but she has credits on properties related to this movie. And Brian Garfield, who is a novelist and wrote the novel for Death Wish.
Oh, why does that sound familiar?
Because it's a movie.
Gotcha.
It got adapted to a movie, and I think it's like 1974.
Isn't that a racing movie?
No, that's Death Race 2000, which was playing at Louisville Gore Club when this episode comes out 2 weeks ago in honor of Robert Corman. It is a wild movie that makes no sense.
Like most films that Corman produced.
Yeah, it's weird. But, did you know Death Race 2000 has the Italian Stallion in it?
Does it really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Death Wish, the original movie, not the novel, came out in 1974. But why you think it's familiar is there's a remake from 2018
that would be
starring
why.
Bruce Willis.
Yep. Okay.
He's the bald guy in action movies.
Yeah. Well, it's either him or Jason Statham. There are two of them. One is
the much older one.
Than the other, and it's Bruce Willis.
I couldn't find anything on the budget, but box office looks like it was $2.5 million.
Depending on how much money they spent, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
Country of origin, United States. Tagline.
Okay.
Slight spoiler here, but he wanted a perfect family in a perfect town, but they couldn't measure up. Neither could the others.
Yeah. All right.
And then this is not necessarily a tagline, but it is on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I here?
I feel like I kind of know what the premise of this movie is going to be going in, but I'm also very confused.
You ready for me to throw you a curveball then?
Sure.
This film was apparently inspired by the crimes of a man named John List.
Okay.
Who killed his family and stuff and then did some other stuff. You can look up his actual crimes. I don't want to tell you what his crimes were.
Because spoilers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But there's definitely some inspiration there.
It's like a true crime movie.
Left Court basically read a newspaper article about him and then brought it to the screenplay.
That's pretty
To be
cool.
adapted into a film. Looks like filming was done in Vancouver, British Columbia, so Canada. And it is important to note that this film spawned a franchise.
Oh.
It looks like it featured 2 sequels and a remake.
I actually didn't know that.
Among other things.
I'd never heard of this movie before, you brought it today.
It used to be on Shudder for a while.
Really?
Yeah. It's not anymore, but it was.
Okay. The joke I was going to make earlier was about, you know how people make that, what is that saying where it's like, I'm not her father. I'm the father that stepped up with her for like stepfather. I was gonna make a joke like that, but I just couldn't. My brain couldn't comprehend it in time for the bit to work.
I'm not her father. I'm the father that stepped on her.
Oh, whoa,
I crushed her.
whoa.
Took care of that problem.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, that's what I wanted to. That's it.
All right.
You want to watch the movie?
I mean, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of want a nap, but sure.
We'll see you guys after the movie. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching The Stepfather,
Yeah.
which I just realized it's a play on The Godfather.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, no, the whole thing at the beginning with the red text, like just like in The Godfather,
Oh, like the opening text?
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
I don't remember.
It would look just like the. Hold on. I'm saying this without even like thinking about it, but I'm almost positive.
I mean, I believe you.
Hold on.
I think they just called it The Stepfather because it's about a stepfather. And he's the only
Hold on.
stepfather we see in the whole movie, so he's the stepfather.
Sure.
In either case, what do you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you kind of mid on it?
Never mind. I'm a liar. I thought for some reason I imagined. Oh no, yeah. See.
Right. Was the text red for this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, sure.
Yeah, sure. No, I really liked it. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, that's good.
You seem surprised.
Well, not to give you too big of a look behind the scenes, but me and Bob were watching this movie and talking shit the whole time. Not about
Yeah.
the film, but just in general. Just
Yeah.
it's been a long day,
Mm-hmm.
so I couldn't really tell how much you enjoyed it compared to like the usual. But
I mean, it was very different than the stuff we normally watch on the podcast.
that's fair.
I would say, while I enjoyed it, I will preface it with, if you're coming into this and you're like here for our normal kind of content about horror movies, this is a little lighter on the horror side.
Bob says, having remembered that we covered a category like 2 seasons ago that was Slurposaur films.
Yeah, but at least those like were big monsters, and that's more horror than this.
I don't know. This has some horror elements.
It does, but you said it. This feels more like psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Than horror movie.
Which I think is important to note because I know at a time it was marketed as like a slasher film.
Yeah, but it's not nearly like
Slashery enough.
slashery enough to be a slasher film.
All right. I guess on that note, I can do a brief rundown and then we can get into actual spoiler stuff, talking about the film. Obviously, go watch it blind.
For sure.
It's a great film to watch blind.
It is a great film to watch blind.
I will say I'm about to give you a description and that'll tell you exactly what this film is. 'Cause
Yes.
It's not surprising.
No, but it's well executed, and that's the benefit.
Yeah. So, on that note, this story is about a man who murders his family and then disguises himself and assumes a different identity so that he can get remarried and have a different family because he's obsessed with this idea of kind of, well, a perfect family. And if it doesn't work out, he's got to get rid of the problem and start over.
Which is so funny because during the movie you said, why didn't he just get a divorce?
I didn't even say that. I said, why doesn't he just leave?
Yeah, like either way, you don't have to kill these people, man.
I can maybe get the not getting a divorce because that's complicated.
Sure.
And that takes time. But if you're going through the effort to like change your identity and everything
And murder these people.
and it's the 80s and you can get away with that, why not just not murder anyone and just get away with it without any consequences for the most part? It just feels there's some reasons he's psychotic. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't think he's entirely in his right mind. Go figure.
He's definitely not.
All right. On that note, we'll get into it. So, our main character. It's never clear what his actual name is.
I don't know what his actual name is.
But the identity he assumes for the entirety of this movie, the stepfather in the title is named Jerry. So for convenience sake, we're going to call him Jerry. He obviously had a persona before that, but I'm not sure if that was really him.
Or someone else.
Yeah. But right off the bat, I want to note that the actor who plays Jerry does a really, really good job.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Like, actually kills it in this film. Genuinely makes it, like, worth a watch solely based on his performance.
I don't think this film would have worked if they had a bad actor in that role. Because
It wouldn't.
Look, I don't think this was a bad movie, but I could understand people really not liking it because it is very slow.
It's
Basically,
really slow.
nothing happens
Yep.
the entire movie. It's just dude being creepy
Yep.
and slowly going from creepy but overall well-meaning to, oh no, he's going to murder his family.
Yes.
All of that has to be very subtle because story-wise, you don't want the other characters to completely pick up on it
Yep.
and be tipped off before the climax happens, which I will note right here is in the last, 5 minutes of the film.
Yep.
So this is an hour and 30 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 120 minutes are just Jerry being creepy. And it's basically sold entirely on the back of his actor. And I just want to say, great job to him. It's just a hard role.
No, it is. It's crazy. Because credit to the writers too, but a lot of what makes Jerry's character so good is his subtle one-liners that you as the audience understand, but the characters on screen do not. And they're so fun.
The fun thing with that character is Terry O'Quinn, I believe is the actor's name, is just really good at coming off in like a really awkward way.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the emotions he's giving off don't seem to match the context of certain situations.
Yeah.
And at least for me, it did a lot at making me just really uncomfortable.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Like, this whole film felt like a bad social situation where you're just really uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And I thought that sold it.
It does. It works perfectly.
It wasn't necessarily pleasant to watch,
No, not at all.
but it really made me believe what was happening.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
There's also a couple fun scenes where he's like totally losing it
Oh, they're so good.
and like yelling at himself and having this internal monologue. And I thought those were also pretty good because they're not like sold to the point of it being goofy, where
Mhm.
he's having like a complete back and forth conversation with himself. It feels really realistic.
Yeah. Well, so what's so cool about this film and why I like it so much is at the beginning of the movie, of course, we are immediately revealed that he is a killer and that he killed his family and assumed no identity. That's like established in the cold open. What we get to see after that is sort of how he's adjusted to his normal life with his new wife and his new stepdaughter. And as things start to go poorly for him and things start to unravel and people start to learn things that he does not want them to know or pry and prod at things, he begins to break and make mistakes that he normally wouldn't make. And like sometimes he'll just say the wrong name. Of like he'll be talking to someone and be like, "Oh, my stepdaughter," or "my daughter," and say the name of his dead daughter instead of his stepdaughter's name. That shit like that is like so real. Like, it feels so real to me of like, oh, bad stuff is happening and he doesn't know how to cope with it. So he's finally starting to break down and shatter. And it's just so cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one way to look at it. The more morbid way to look at it is he's been doing this a lot the whole time, and it was just a matter of time until he broke and just slaughtered his family.
Sure. That's one way to look at it too.
Outside of him, though, to be honest, I think the characters are fine at best.
They're fine.
We just don't really get a lot of screen time with anyone else.
Him and Stephanie, and that's like it.
And Stephanie's his stepdaughter.
Mm-hmm.
But even Stephanie doesn't get a lot of screen time. She gets more screen time than basically anyone else, which makes her more of a character than anyone else. And they give her screen time because she's the only one on edge about her stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more because her mom remarried a year after her dad's death.
Yep.
And she's just unhappy with that.
Which, understandable.
And so, once again, that means a lot is just resting on this one character, like story-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just don't get to see anything else.
I mean, it is essentially a character piece about Jerry. Like,
Yeah.
That's really the main draw of this film.
And I do think that's why it could be really, really boring to some people.
Yeah, because if you don't care about Jerry and you're not invested in what he's up to, then you're not going to like this movie.
Yeah, I think these scenes where it's not Jerry are kind of like the investigation stuff. And it's being done by his stepdaughter. Forgot her name again.
Stephanie.
That tells you how much of a character she is.
Yeah.
Stephanie. And then technically it's Jerry's ex-brother-in-law. So,
Jerry's dead wife's brother-in-law.
yeah, the woman he murdered, her brother, who's also doing some investigation. And they're kind of doing it from opposite ends. So his stepdaughter, Stephanie, see, I remembered. Stephanie's kind of trying to find out what's weird about her stepdad.
Yeah, because she
And-
can feel something is up.
Then
Do you know his name?
No.
Tim.
Tim.
No one calls him Tim, though. His name is like... Everyone calls him by his last name, but I don't know how
Oh.
to say it.
But Tim is kind of just looking for the guy who
Killed
murdered his family.
sister.
Because he's convinced because they know he disappeared, so he's convinced he like moved on to a different family.
Yep.
And that's the only other thing that isn't just like the stepfather being creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting.
I think the Tim side plot is interesting.
I honestly wish we got to see more of it.
Same. Because I like the Stephanie investigation stuff, but it feels
Hers doesn't really matter
like it doesn't matter.
because it doesn't pay off at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not
It doesn't.
Not that the Tim stuff really pays off either.
Oh, the Tim stuff has the worst payoff I've ever seen in my life.
It feels like a wet noodle.
Not even a wet noodle. It feels so much worse.
Yeah, it's just
Because there's so much build up to it being a cool thing, and then it just isn't.
for no reason.
For no reason. It could have been a cool thing. But I think the Tim stuff makes more sense in the investigation aspect because there's actual motivation.
And actual evidence being followed.
Yes, and not just like, I feel like my stepdad's weird. Like, come on.
Yeah, but that's like the most 16-year-old thing to do, which
It is.
how old Stephanie is. Which I think is a fun jumping off point to something that made me kind of uncomfortable in this
We're
movie.
talking about this right now?
Yeah, because I think it should be talked about because it is a little uncomfortable. Not gonna lie.
No, fair.
Stephanie the character's 16.
Mm-hmm.
We looked it up. The actor's what? I think
24.
24. But she goes like topless
Completely
and stuff.
naked.
Oh yeah, no, she is completely naked.
Yep.
It's just really weird.
No, yeah.
That's like kind of the weirdest thing in this film.
Oh, you get to see the killer's penis. That too.
Oh, Bob was really excited about that.
Well, because it was funny.
It was like first 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
If even that. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how you're introduced to his character.
True.
Mirror Schlong.
I will say, I do really like the opening to this film. We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we get to see his transition, which I mean transition from one identity to the other.
Yeah.
Which I mean by that his transition from one father to a stepfather.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. He like shaves and everything because he had a beard before, switches out his glasses for contacts. But it's this really interesting scene because we get to watch him. He cleans all the blood off himself and he walks down the stairs in this nice suit. And he's like cleaning up this house as he goes. And as he's cleaning, we see the bodies of his dead family on the floor.
Yep.
And it's just this great contrast of, oh, this guy's psychotic.
Yeah.
Like, not just the fact that he killed his family.
Well, because he's just whistling Yankee Doodle and walking out of his house and
but
it didn't happen.
just treating everything as normal.
Yeah. It's really good. And I think that's, bring it back, what makes Jerry such an interesting character to watch for the whole film.
Because they sell him as dangerous and unhinged.
Yeah. And it's cool to see him break.
I will say here, like I said, we watch him kind of assume a different identity. And I want to note here that they don't use any like over-the-top practical effects to make him look different.
Nope.
It is just like changing his hair and his outfits
Mhm.
and glasses and stuff. And we get to see him do it 3 times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Every time it looks fairly convincing.
He looks distinctly different.
And I thought that was really cool.
It is really cool. It's so hard to make someone look different even twice, but doing it 3 times is impressive. Especially because it's not any heavy prosthetics. It's just like basic shit.
And I think that also helps really sell the concept of what's going on here.
Yeah, it makes it feel more real because you literally watch him do it. So it's like there's no smoke and mirrors. Man actually just did that himself in the mirror. You watch it happen.
I want to bring this up here because I think it's just a funny point. But I'm not sure what the remake of this movie is going to be.
I have no idea.
Because the premise of this film really only works without the internet.
Yeah.
Because you can't look up like, hey, what's this dude look like that murdered his family?
Well, is the remake just set in the 80s or something?
No, I assume it's set in the modern day,
I don't know.
whenever the movie came out.
I think you said 2018, right?
It's more expensive to set something back that day. No, I think it's like 2009. The 2018 thing was Death Wish.
You're right. I'm stupid.
Yeah, it's 2009. Yeah, these photos look like they're modern. So it must be a little different for it to make sense. But
I mean, it has to be a little different, but also, like, it can be explained away by BS. You know what I mean? I'm sure they have explanations for it. It
That's
might
fair.
not be good explanations, but I'm sure they're there.
But yeah, overall, not a lot happens. Like we said, it kind of kicks off in the last 5-10 minutes. There is a brief moment of, like, excitement
Yeah.
about halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was going to say, I know you said this. I don't know if it was during the movie or in the pre-movie, but this was originally marketed as a psychological thriller film.
I just said that at the beginning of this segment.
Did you?
Yeah. But yeah, it was originally marketed as a psychological thriller. They didn't sell a lot of tickets, then they marketed it as a slasher.
Marketing as a slasher is a bad play because this movie is not a slasher film.
No, it's a bad play, but it's a good play to get people in seats.
I mean,
Maybe
I guess that's fair.
maybe disappointed.
But that's my thing is if I came in with the idea of this being a slasher, I would be disappointed. Not enough bodies, not enough blood, not enough violence.
We don't count as family. One person dies.
Yeah.
Two people die.
2 people. You're right. You're right. You're so right.
And it's not gory. It's just some blood.
No, it's really not that bad. Which is what kind of sucks because I kind of wanted a bunch of bodies.
Honestly, this film to me feels like a psychological version of a Goosebumps episode where it's like, it's not super graphic. And besides for that weird nudity halfway through, because it does feel out of place.
It does.
The rest of it is kid thinks dad's creepy. Is dad creepy? Tell me that isn't a Goosebumps episode right there.
Okay, you're not wrong. That is kind of the concept of a Goosebumps book, probably. We haven't really talked about it, but there's also like quite a bit of like interesting, cool stuff during the investigation that Tim does. Like we get to see the fact that this guy, we know he's psychotic, but he probably has some other like sort of, I don't know if I could say it's like OCD or something. I don't know if that's the correct word, but like Tim gets the old house that his sister was murdered, like the original house. And he like inherits it or like gains access to it somehow.
He inherits it.
Yeah. And he goes in there and a lot of the stuff in the old house is the exact same in the new house.
At the very least, the stuff that is Jerry's private area.
Yes, like the basement is like laid out the exact same format. In the old house where Jerry had a picture of his wife and kids hanging up, in the new house is a picture of Stephanie and her mom hanging up.
I think he has some form of some form of obsessive compulsive disorder. Because he needs everything to be a certain way. And when it's not,
he's very, very, like,
he starts to fall apart.
uptight about that kind of stuff.
But I think he's also just a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
And everything has to be perfect. Again, coming back to that whole thing of, like, he wants that perfect family. Or he loses it, and he's like, I gotta salt the earth and start over.
Which is crazy.
Well, I never said he was sane.
No. There's also some interesting, like, interpersonal stuff that happens in the film. Between like Stephanie and her mom and the school and stuff. And while I think that stuff is mildly interesting at best, it does not hold up in comparison to like all the stuff Jerry's up to, which kind of sucks. Because if Stephanie's interpersonal stuff with the school and her mom and what's her boyfriend's name? I can't remember his name.
I don't think they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, they're like a thing.
I don't remember. Because they don't matter.
They don't. That's what I'm saying.
None
of this stuff matters, so it sucks.
That's the whole issue. Is like anything other characters do doesn't matter because those characters aren't developed enough for us to care.
And because we don't care, when Jerry finally, like, spoiler, loses his mind and starts attacking people, I really don't give a shit.
I'm like
I don't care that much.
What was your name again?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, kill them, please. That's more interesting than, whatever's going on. Which blows when you have such a strong performance from the guy that plays Jerry.
It just feels like there's nothing else here.
Yeah, it's like we have the skeleton of a really, really good thing, but we don't have all the different pieces to go on the skeleton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have the bones, but none of the rest of it, which sucks.
Honestly, it's a cool idea, but then the idea maybe could have been a short or something.
Yeah.
There's not enough interim to make that concept stretch the whole movie.
Yeah, like the world around Jerry needs to be more developed and worked out for this to make more sense. Because like overall, I enjoy the film, but it lacks a lot of deeper elements that I want in a film that is, by definition, I think, a psychological thriller, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's kind of my thoughts on this too.
And that's really where this film makes me upset.
So it could have been great.
Yeah, it could have been great, but it's only okay.
Well, then I think if you don't have anything else to say, before we get on to recommendations, I have one big question.
Okay.
This is more of a general question to you, because I'm curious of what you'll think of as a solution to this problem.
Okay.
And I'm sure someone knows if you've seen the sequels, but there is, I think, 2 sequels to this.
Yeah.
And a remake. Spoiler here, not that I think it matters. Jerry dies at the end of this film.
Yeah.
He gets shot a bunch and stabbed a couple times, including through the heart, except he doesn't die because he's in the sequel.
No fucking way. Are you serious? No way.
So like,
Jerry fucking dies. I saw it.
how do you think they explain that away?
I don't think
Like-
they can.
There was a knife sticking out of his chest,
He'd been shot 3 separate times.
and he had a knife sticking into his like heart.
He's fine?
Yeah, I only knew he survived because he's on the cover poster for like the second film. And
That's
then
crazy.
at the very end of the movie, you saw me pull out my phone. I was like, wait a second. I just pulled up the like description, and it's like blah 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 actor name, and I'm like, oh, that's the same guy.
That is fucking ridiculous. That makes me so angry.
And it doesn't look like it's a prequel, so it's
That's what I was going to say. I thought you were going to be like, what do you think they did for the sequels if he's actually dead? I was going to say they did a prequel because that would be cool.
That's what I was thinking they were gonna do when I saw he was dead. But then I was like, wait a minute, did they? And no, it doesn't look like it.
God damn it.
So that's wild,
That's stupid.
but it is kind of funny.
It is funny, but it is stupid too.
I died, but then I survived.
No.
All right,
Jason Voorhees head ass.
fair enough. And I grew up into an old man too.
Oh my god. No, please.
Somehow. Oh, it's like Emperor Palpatine.
Somehow he returned.
Best line written in any film
Shut
ever.
up. I hate that movie.
Okay, well, you want to give it a recommendation then?
Yeah, if you're interested in a psychological thriller that is riddled with daddy issues, check it out. That's what this film is. Unironically, it really is. If you like, what was his name? Terry O'Quinn? If you like him as an actor, I know he was on Lost. He's phenomenal in this. Carries the movie, in my opinion, in terms of acting performance. Like, so talented. If you want a, like, sort of mystery film, I don't think the mystery in this is super strong, but it is there enough to sort of give the vibe of something like, you know what? Actually, I'm about to lie to you. If you want something akin to, what is it, Columbo? Where you see the thing happen and you know who did it and you got to watch the people solve the mystery while you know what's going on. That's exactly what this film is. Because the whole movie, you know he's a killer.
And you know he's going to do it again.
And you know he's going to do it again. And that's what makes all the stuff that leads up to him doing it interesting. Is because you know stuff and they don't. So the little intricate pieces, like, are fun for you to watch. I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
Okay. If you're looking for something more in the vein of a psychological thriller, maybe this is for you. I don't think it's too psychological as far as thrillers go, but it's definitely there. If you're looking for something a little less gory, but maybe a little too grown up for children, so maybe in that early teen range, this might be in that same ballpark for you. Maybe let's say you were a Goosebumps kid and you're a little bit older now. Really experience a little bit more of a grown up film. I think this is right in the ballpark. It's got a similar plot that you might be used to, but has more blood and stuff.
Barely.
But I think the big one here is if you're a fan of any of the actors.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the big one is Terry O'Quinn, because I know he was on Lost. I think he really sells it.
No, he's really good,
And
man.
I mean, I checked. I think he's in the second one. I assume he's probably in the third one. So
I assume he's probably not in the remake, though.
if you're a fan of him, that's
But it would be cool if he was in the remake.
if he is, it's probably a cameo. But
But could you imagine he plays the fucking killer in the remake, too?
jeez, he'd be so old.
He wouldn't be that old. Lost was still going in 2009.
Yeah, but he plays an old man in Lost.
He's not that old, brother.
He's 71.
Okay, maybe he's a little old. Well, he would have only been in his 50s in 2009.
I guess you're right.
Or like early, you know what I mean? Like 60-something.
I guess you're right.
He could have done it.
In either case, I think if you're a fan of him, check it out too.
Yeah.
That being said, you want to give it a rating?
I said I like this movie, and I do like this film. But I will admit, it's a bit of a slog. Nothing too interesting happens. And while I do think Terry O'Quinn's performance is phenomenal, and he's by far the most interesting character, and it is a character piece, a lot of the other parts of the movie suck. Because, like, it has at least okay cinematography, it has a basic soundtrack, it has all the elements of an okay film. But it all could have been great. And that's kind of where I'm at a weird spot, because, like, I think it hits a 3, but I don't know if it hits a 4. So I think I'm going to go with a 3.5, because, I'll be honest, I wanted more murdering. That's all. Like, that's really a big one. It's like, I just wanted to see him kill more people, because that was the coolest part, was watching him kill people.
Yeah.
Like, watching him kill the one person that dies in this film, Well, one
Two.
of them, two, was sweet.
And only one of those deaths is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, one of them sucks.
Wet noodle.
Wet
some might
noodle.
say. I said.
Yeah,
That's a hint there.
that is a good hint.
All right. I think I'm also going to give it a 3.5. I don't necessarily like this film, but I don't think it's bad. You know, it has a lot of selling points. Obviously, the main character does a great job selling his role. There's some cool ideas and like costuming and stuff. And, you know, I think it does a good job at making like an uncomfortable character uncomfortable and getting to watch that person slowly become the thing we fear. And I think all of that's good. I think all of that kind of puts this film into the ballpark of shooting beyond what the very concept of murderous stepfather could be.
Oh, for sure.
Which is why I have to give it a 3.5. But with that being said, it's just functionally kind of boring because nothing happens in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could condense the action of this film down into maybe 20 minutes, and the rest is just filler of guy says something vaguely uncomfortable or menacing if you know the context.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think, well, that really helps the tone and the attitude of this film. It's functionally nothing. I can't make myself go above a 3.5 when there's just not enough content there to get me there.
Fair enough.
That being said, though, I guess we can go to the outtakes now.
Yeah.
They're kind of nonsense because we were just laughing
they
at
are
stuff.
a little bit nonsense, and there may be a very funny nickname for Jerry in there.
Maybe.
It's probably in there.
With that being said, we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a minute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of The Stepfather so far. I like this film, even though it is a little slow and a little boring. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is me making an astounding realization 20 minutes into the film.
And I don't know if that's a weird thing to note because I'm not sure how old this actor is.
Me either. I didn't notice it till you pointed it out.
I'll figure it out, Bob. Don't worry.
Oh, I've seen that guy's penis. Oh my god. Sorry, I just had the realization. I've seen this guy's cock. I just thought about that. Because he was earlier in the movie. But you didn't mark the penis clip from earlier.
We got 20 minutes in, and that's your first, comment.
Well, I hadn't thought about it until just now.
We saw it 20 minutes ago.
I know, but I forgot that was him.
You also saw his ass.
Don't care about that as much. This next clip is our reaction to Jerry losing it for the first time and Ben giving him a very, very funny nickname. What are you looking for down here?
Bodies.
Yeah, me too.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, Lord.
Jerry,
Jerry, you're not alone.
you want some ice cream?
Jerry, she sees you, Jerry.
Oh, he's talking to himself. Hey, Jer Bear.
Jer Bear. This next clip is us making a Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 reference.
That was
Ronald Reagan! Sorry.
Oranges.
Oranges. This next clip is Ben making a really stupid joke and it getting out of hand. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there. Jer Bear is about to kill this guy.
Jeremiah Barrington.
Sometimes I think we're too funny for our own good.
Wow, that's the same brain cell that made you make a podcast.
Bro, come on.
You know it's true.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
No, except we're releasing Evil Dead 2 tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that does come out tomorrow, doesn't it?
And we also released The Blob today. So
yeah, there's another episode today.
You know, you can check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, good movie.
With that being said, usual spiel. But first, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
All right. Check us out wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast. If you're checking us out on those platforms, please give us a quick rating or review. That really helps us out with getting recommended to other people there. You could also recommend us to a friend or maybe a father you think might like this program.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure why, but maybe.
I feel like dads are normally into horror movies and stuff. That feels like a dad thing, doesn't it?
Yes, but we're very distinctly men in our early 20s.
Yeah, and?
We don't give out heavy enough dad vibes.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that's fair. Aside from that, we're also on YouTube, which, while not great for audio-only content, is really nice for showing us some support. We can see your likes, views, subscriptions, stuff like that, and it really helps us out. You know, knowing who's liking this stuff gives us energy to keep going. Aside from that, though, YouTube has a couple tools you might like. There's a bell button, which lets you get notified whenever we post something new, in case we don't warn you about new videos or they're coming out on a weird day, like a Sunday or Monday. It's an easy way to know. There's also a search function, which lets you search for keywords in all our videos, such as episode titles, in case you want to see if we've covered a movie. But the big thing with YouTube is it's one of the two major places you can communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video if there's something you want to talk about in that episode. Or you can go over to Twitter, @BewareTheBoard, and go hit up Bob. See if you can get a job, maybe as a realtor or an insurance salesman. Maybe rent a house right next to a single divorcee with kids. Worm your way into their life.
It's a deep cut, Ben.
Settle down. Find yourself disillusioned.
Oh my
do it all
God.
over again.
Holy shit, you're taking this far. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter, @BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes, which is a hidden movie cover that you can reveal, so you can watch the film before we do. So whenever you listen to the episodes, you don't get any spoilers or we're being really vague about stuff. You know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays, or whatever day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode on our Twitter. So if you ever missed an upload or whatever something went up, there's always a link there. Last thing, we might do short form content for the show still. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't made one in a while. I've been really busy pumping out these extra content. Like 3 episodes are coming out this week. 3 episodes have come out this week. This will be the last one, and then one will come out tomorrow. So we've had a bunch of extra stuff going on, so I haven't been able to make short form. But if you like short form and want to support the show, check us out @BewareTheBoard on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. Ben, I think that's it.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.